Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us His truth. And salutations to the sincere Akim and Aqua that may listen. May the blessing of election be over your house. My name is Brother Requai. I'm back in here with another lesson. And for today's lesson, it's going to be a bit of like an in the news lesson, and it's an article that I came across, and I just wanted to share with you, what's going on with you brothers and few sisters who may listen. And so I have a couple precepts here, and Yahweh Ratiza, Lord willing, this would be an edifying lesson, because this is just staying mindful of the kind of times that we're living in, and what times that what's coming, because it's very interesting to the way the world's going, right? With this whole over sexualized vibration that is being pushed on on the people, especially children, right, at such a young age, because they're impressionable, and they're just praying after the children, through these different these different devices, right? As a matter of fact, let's get a precept real quick just to start off. So this is 2 Corinthians 2 verse 11, and it reads, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices," right? So all these different devices that Satan is using, that's laying out all these different traps for our people, because he's using these curriculums that are in school. They're using the Santa Claus, dressing him up, and then what are people doing? Our people are essentially just handing their children over to these people, and they're using that as a gateway to prey upon the children, right? So anyways, without further ado, let's jump right into the lesson, right? So let's see what's going on here. Listener discretion. This is a very, very disturbing article. I can't even finish the sentence at this point, man. So, anyways, okay. So it reads: gay couple charged with molesting their adopted sons also pimped them out to pedophile ring, report claims. Right, so this is last Friday. So I'm just gonna read through the article and then intervene and bring in a couple of precepts, and go from there. So it says, a gay couple from Georgia charged with molesting their 2 adopted sons and using them to record child porn, also allegedly pimped them out to members of a local so-and-so ring. I know I still want to use all these different words, because there's another device that they can pick up on the words, and I don't want them to cut the video or take down the video, right? But as you can see, so-and-so ring, according to a disturbing new report, a months-long investigation by Town Hall revealed that William Dale Zolak, 33, and Zachary Jacoby Zolak, 35, allegedly used social media to so-and-so their 2 elementary age sons. So we're talking about young children here, right? Hang on. Salakia. Okay, let's expand. Okay, good. Okay, where was I? Okay, so Zalak, a government worker, and Zachary Zalak, a banker, who were indicted in August 2022 on charges of incest, aggravated sodomy, aggravated child molestation, felony sexual exploitation of children, and felony prostitution of a minor. Right? It's just very interesting that this happened in August last year. And, why are these people allowed to adopt children? Like this is just filthy, man. Like these people need to be put to death, right? As a matter of fact, let me get that precept first. Okay, so this is Leviticus 20, verse 13, and it reads, "If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death, and their blood shall be upon them." Right? So, this is a situation where a man is in an intimate relationship with another man, right? Because that is clearly against the law, and that's not bringing forth life. That just brings forth death, right? If they were just, in a righteous society, they would just be put to death, and they wouldn't have these complications with children, right? So, moving on. By shocking investigation reveals in more detail the sickening abuse of the boys suffered. For the first time, it was revealed that the men allegedly pimped out their older son, one now 11 and 9 years old, to two other men in a pedophile ring. Goodness, can't avoid the words. Okay, and continue on. It reads, one of the men, Lawless 27, told investigators that Zachary, whose Instagram bio describes him as papa to two wonderful boys, as an activist, invited him multiple times to take part in sexually abusing the boys, Town Hall reported. All right, so this is the abomination that is being shown here, right? Because these people just need to be put to death, and this is the filthy vibration that they're pushing. Like these people shouldn't even be allowed to do this, right? This is just sick. And what's very interesting, if before I continue, I just want to make this point. What's very interesting about these people is that they think that their lifestyle and this vibration that they're pushing has never been done before. But as history, if people have done a little bit of ounce of research, they would realize that this sort of lifestyle has been done before, during the time of the ancient Roman Empire, right before it fell, because this is the kind of unclean behavior that our people were into, and the Edomites, these Romans were into as well, because this is the kind of behavior that they would engage in, especially during festivals such as Saturnalia, where there was a turning upside down of the social order, and then people were behaving, the parents, not the parents, like the people who up in the upper echelon of the society, they were dressing up as peasants, and the peasants, dressing up as people in the upper class, right? And then the adults were sleeping with with minors, and minors with adults, and so on and so forth. Right? So this is the kind of behavior that that was being done back then, and people think it's interesting. People actually think that they think it's progressive, and then two, they think it's never been done before. Like they think they're breaking new boundaries, so to speak. Like the arrogance of these people, man. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can grab another precept. Okay, so this is Ecclesiastes 1 verse 9, and it reads, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and then there is no new thing under the sun. Exactly. So this is just going to show that, and in a minute, if I can find the clipping, I'm going to show you that this has been done before. Verse 10, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us, right? And this is why it's a law, because this has already been done before, and people know that, two men or two women don't bring forth life, right? That brings forth death, right? So continuing on, let's read. So the couple allegedly used children to film, child, so and so. However, Lawless claimed that he had never had physical contact with either child. Also claimed Zachary sent him multiple messages on Snapchat, including one that allegedly read, "I'm going to F my son tonight." Boy. Man, that is just so filthy, man. Oh God. Moving on. Stand by along with images of himself sexually abusing the 11-year-old according to the outlet. Right? So the two men were arrested on charges of soliciting to an act of prostitution with the 11-year-old boy, according to the indictment. It's unclear whether Lawless and Armando Sanchez had any physical interactions with the boys. Like, I don't understand, like, why would you say you want to F your son? Like, that is just so odd. That, my God, man. If they would have just been put to death, we wouldn't have these problems. Really and truly. The Zolaks lived in Oxford, an affluent suburb in Georgia, adopted the children from a Christian special needs adoption agency. The boys were in the 3rd and 4th grades when the adoptive fathers were arrested last summer. So it goes on to say that, so-and-so and the husband, William Dale Zolak Jr., had been indicted of charges of incest, aggravated sodomy, aggravated child molestation, felony sexual exploitation, the felony prostitution of a minor. Walton County Sheriff's Office deputies responded to reports that a man was downloading child, so-and-so raided the home in Loganville where they found evidence the pair were engaging in sexually abusive acts, and video documenting this abuse. Police said at the time. During the raid, William was pulled out of his home naked. Yeah, I wonder what he was doing, because it's not looking very good for him, And I keep saying this again, if they were just been put to death, we wouldn't have these complications, right? These people should not be allowed to be nowhere near children. But what society is doing is allowing these perverse behaviors to creep forth into the vulnerable sectors, especially children, right? Moving on, it reads, his husband admitted sending child sexual abuse material to several people, according to the news outlet. The couple have been active in the local LGBTQ community. Prominent LGBT publication Out magazine reported asked to feature their photos on its website, according to the Daily Wire. right? So, Town Hall said it spent months reviewing recorded jailhouse calls, court documents, and testimony from a relative who spoke exclusively with a report the outlet about the extent of the abuse, as well as the faster than expected adoption process that led to the nightmare. William and Zachary have not pleaded guilty. Each face a face over 9 life sentences if convicted. Right, and these people should be convicted. Or you know what, this is because this is absolutely filthy, man. You know, and in a righteous society, this kind of stuff would not even happen. This is what happens when you have an unrighteous king, a mad scientist that's ruling, and this is the vibration that they push, on the people. Okay, this is Sirach 10, verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. Verse 2. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all that dwell therein. Right? So with a righteous king in power, this is that's the vibration that they push. They push forth, the laws, statutes, and the commandments, for the people to follow, right, and people to be, in subjection to, right, because that is what keeps, order. The Heavenly Father, and His Son Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai are, they are people of order, and that trickles down, to the man and the woman and the child, right? There's an order to things. There's no such thing as like equality, that's a myth, right? So verse 3 and the point, it reads, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority the city shall be inhabited, right? So this place would be very well soon inhabited, because it's literally being destroyed from the inside out, and eventually it's going to be destroyed by fire, right? So and it's just another point, back to the point when I said, would be destroyed by fire, because this is the kind of lifestyle and the kind of vibration that, countries, especially, America and Western powers, push forth onto their people. And this is the sort of vibration that makes these other nations, nations in the West, not the West, Salakia, nations in the East, so-called Middle Eastern countries that are actually trying to protect those ancient ways and that order in their society, right? Countries like Russia are actually guarding against like this sort of vibration. This especially, and I believe there's also countries in Africa that are trying to guard against this this filthy vibration that America likes to push onto other people, right? This this LGBTQ lifestyle, democracy and capitalism and all this kinds of stuff. This is the vibration that they're trying to fight against, right? And this is one of the reasons they hate America and they're going to attack America, right? Let's get. Okay, so just to back up my point that I was made earlier, so this is Jeremiah 51 verse 7, and it reads, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord Yahweh's hand, that made the whole earth drunken. The nations have drunken of the wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. And that wine represents all these different philosophies that America, Babylon, likes to push forth. And these philosophies include, but are not limited to, the alphabet lifestyle, the homosexuality, the pedophilia, the bestiality, the destruction of the nuclear family. There's baby mama culture, that's very prevalent in this society where the state takes care of the mother and there's no fathers in the household. And this is a sort of this is a complete turning upside down. Like the scripture said, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay, right? This is what Babylon is doing, right? They're trying to, especially with this vibration, and why the nations are mad, it's because they're pushing that filthy vibration. And I know there are countries in the Middle East that are trying to protect their ancient ways of having, like for example, the women in order and serving their man, which is how it should be. That's how a household is run, that's how a household is just kept, right? But Babylon is pushing forth this wicked vibration that is completely destroying the people and completely destroying the society from the inside out. Further on, and it reads, verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. Verse 9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, let us go, everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Right, so the judgment for this place is beyond the skies. Right, it's astronomical, because there are the things that are coming out every single day, of the wicked vibration that that Babylon is pushing, and furthermore of the things that are the atrocities that have been done to our people, throughout since the conception of this country, of their so-called country, right? I had another, let me see if I can find it really quick. There was a quick account of Julius Caesar I was reading into earlier. I'm just going to pause and see if I can find it. Okay, so Salaki for the delay, but here is an article I was looking into just recently about the curious sex life of Julius Caesar. So I just wanted to add on quickly to the point I made earlier in regards to the fact that, when people engage in these like these lewd sexual behaviors, these different lifestyles, these so-called alternative lifestyles, people strongly believe that this has never been done before. So I just want to show you some of the things that the Emperor Julius Caesar and those Caesars, what was going on during that time, during the time of the Roman Empire, right? The old Roman Empire, right? So, he was known as every woman's man and every man's woman, right? So he was, essentially he was a loosey-goose, he dibbled and dabbled, with, he had concubines, and he had, he dealt a lot with other men's wives and all that kind of stuff, which is totally off. And he also even dealt with men too. Right, so this is just going to show that this has happened before, and like the scriptures say, there is no new thing under the sun, right? So okay, so here it reads quickly. I'm just gonna go through this, and I can attach the link, and then just go from there. So here it says, in Roman times, sexual relationships between two men were acceptable. However, being in a submissive role, such a relationship was damaging to the reputation of a masculine leader of the legions. Indeed, this was the only stain on Caesar's image of a tireless seducer. It was said that no woman, no wife, no daughter was safe before Caesar, right? So he was like he was like a playboy, essentially, right? So Caesar was notoriously known for seducing wives of his allies, using sex with aristocratic women to improve his political status. He also spent enormous amounts of money, often public money, on the number of prostitutes. He was given the nickname "bad adulterer," right? It's a part where he says, he even like slept with a lot of men too. Let's see. So here you see paintings of men, being intimate with other men. Okay, here. Okay, so here it says Servilia's son Marcus Brutus was Caesar's favorite. Despite the rumors, Brutus wasn't Caesar's son since he was born when Caesar was only 15 years old. Marcus Brutus was treated very well by Caesar. Even cited in Caesar's opponent Pompey, Caesar ordered his men no harm should come to Brutus. Okay, below here it reads Roman society promoted sexuality, prostitution was legal and public, houses had so and so paintings. No moral punishment was directed at men who enjoyed sex with other women and men, even if they were of inferior status. So this is why this place is called spiritually Sodom in Egypt, like it says in Revelation verse 8, right? This is one of the reasons why, because the same practices that were done back then are done today. And today it's done in more of a dynamic fashion, right? Moving on, as long as their actions weren't deemed as excesses. So here it briefly says sex with men was not regarded as demeaning to men's masculinity if the man took the active and not the receptive role, right? So that is the same vibration that America and these Western powers come in, right? So they come into this vibration of a spiritual Sodom in Egypt, which is this place, right? Let me just grab one more precept. Okay, so this is Romans 1, verse 26. For this cause the Most High gave them up to vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into which is against nature. Verse 27, and likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, right? So a woman is designed for bearing children, and she is the helpmate of the men. So we procreate with women, right? Men cannot procreate with men. They cannot bring forth life with other men, right? Burned their lust toward one another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was meet. Verse 8, and even as they did not like to retain the knowledge of the Most High, right? Because retaining the knowledge of the Most High comes with these laws, statutes, and commandments that the Israelites ought to follow, right? The Most High gave them over to a reprobate mind, to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of the Most High, despiteful, proud, right? I just want to stop at proud real quick, because what is the LGBT people, what do they celebrate every June? Pride, right? What does scripture say about pride? It comes before destruction, right? Boasters, inventors of evil things, right? So these so-called mixed families. If you look up something called Thabies, that's a new trend these days, where they're raising children without a so-called gender, right? You can Google this. It's called Theybis, right? This is a trend that's actually being done in the Scandinavian countries such as Sweden, right? Where they're raising children without a gender. So this is an example of those evil things that they're inventing. Disobedient of parents, so that's prevalent in this society, because they don't respect the elderly here, right? Without understanding, covenant breakers, which without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, right? Let me just finish this last verse. Who, knowing the judgment of the Most High, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them, right? So it only brings forth death when they follow these wicked ways. Anyways, hopefully this lesson was edifying. And I just like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone for teaching us his truth. Till next time, I say, Shalom.